Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the so-called movie talk show, which doesn't have a good title yet. Uh, so I'm Joe Mayo, and I'm here with Tim Allen and Tom Hunyadi, and we're here to talk about movie stuff. And I know these guys have seen a bunch of movies that they want to talk about. I've seen two that I want to talk about. That's a pretty good title. Lights, camera, mayo, mayonnaise. Hello, hello, James. Hello, Henry. And yes, Music Man did make it here. So, hmm, I hate starting that early because talking about this stuff early because I like more people to get here, maybe. But what can we start with? Yeah, there we go. For now, I still want something that's going to have it's going to lend itself to horror. Uh, like mostly like a horror feel, like Mayhem fits that, and that kind of stuff, and you know, s- science fiction, murder, stuff like that. But also can be in general. Like Mayhem is in like craziness and confusion too. So that works both ways. Excuse me. Hello,
Hello.
Charles.
Hello,
Mm.
hello everyone.
Hello,
Hey,
Chrissy.
Chrissy.
Hello,
Mike.
Mike. So, let's see. Well, I don't even know where to begin, guys. Why don't we start talking about some movies that we saw? How does that sound? Or did you buy movies first? Anybody like get
Yeah.
Tom gets movies?
I,
What you?
I I bought a
Yeah.
couple, but they're in my. I watched them, so they'll be in my saw pile. So I'll show them, but
Well,
All right.
I'm not showing
Cool.
twice.
Mm.
all right. So, anyway, let's start with this. I finally just watched the Beatles Help movie. Beatles. I liked it. What are your thoughts on it? I love it. That's what I say about it. Not. Um,
It's the Beatles. It's great.
you know.
It's color. It's Mel Evans swimming. You know.
Yeah.
It's the bloody Beatles. Shut up. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Joke
must say
that
no
we
more. Yeah.
I
could say
prefer
no
a hard
more.
day's night, but Help is still
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's how I feel. If somebody's well, I mean, I like them both equally. Really, maybe I'll give us a notch above to A Hard Day's Night because it's just a better. Haven't watched any movies this week. I'm sorry.
Mm. No.
You're
So,
not. This isn't your job, so you're fine.
all right.
Well,
Well, I'll talk. Let me talk about. I'll talk about a couple movies I saw because you guys got more. And what do you already know? I went to the movie theater to see the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie. I did a video on it. I just deleted the first one that I did. It's a long. I did one, and I thought when I saw the movie the first time, it was just kind of so for me. And then I went back the next night, and I was just in a better mood and more receptive and everything. And I liked it better the second time.
yeah.
And you know that this happens though sometimes with movies or music albums or anything. And we've been through this discussion, right? So many times. Like, if you see a movie, a couple of times, three, four times, you pick up more. I picked up more things that I missed. Now that I knew what was going on the first time, generally, I said, well, now let me look and
Mm.
see if I can figure some questions I had out the first time as to why this occurred. And then I'm saying, oh, it made more sense the second time. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. Super sticker from David. Thanks so much, bud. Um, there's spoilers, of course. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I will say that I thought for the longest time as a big Planet of the Apes fan that the way to make a series work, and the same as the TV series had to go when they had a TV series back in the 70s, was you have to have the humans and apes communicating. You have to have humans that talk, and you have to have some kind of contrast with them. You can't just, in my opinion, have a movie where, like the first one, where it's just like apes are all the rulers and humans are just like mute animals and savages, and there's no connection or contrast or struggle or anything together. Of course, in the first movie, you had Taylor. Charlton Heston,
Mhm.
was the struggle, the human character. So I like the fact where they went with the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, when I went the first time, it's such a crazy. There were two different theaters that I saw it in. The first theater, they had these popcorn buckets, the collectible tin buckets. And since I didn't love the movie the first time, I was like, who cares? And then I went the second time to a different theater, and I came out liking it, but they didn't have any buckets at this other theater.
Mm.
So then on the past weekend, I went to the movie theater with my girlfriend to see. I guess it's a new, kind of new movie. And when I went there to this other unrelated movie, they were also
So you
showing
can't
the.
tell the title. You can't say the title of the
I
movie.
will. I will. I'm leaving you
Okay.
in suspense. They had the apes was playing there too, so I was able to get this from my apes collection,
Sure.
and I wanted to show you this thing. It's supposed to come with a keychain, and I was like,
Oh.
where the heck is the keychain? He said, well, you gotta unscrew the top. I did it last night, but of course, because I got to do it here in the video, I can't do it. You unscrew the top. This is live. All right, here it comes.
Okay. And that's the
And there's a
keychain?
keychain, which is like a symbol
Yeah.
that they wear
Ah.
uh,
Yes.
in the movie. Anyhow, I'll get to the second movie I saw because I know Tom's dying to know. But anyway, but get a load of this. At the record store yesterday, somebody had went to the movies and they picked a
Ah.
free one of these up for me too that I hadn't seen it, whatever movie I went to. So I got this as well, which is pretty cool. Anyway, what's the second movie I saw? The Fall Guy.
Oh.
And it really wasn't my choice necessarily. We always say, "I'm sorry, Tom, we're not like you." I envy you. Always want. I see movies you want to see, but we don't want to see movies. So it's like new movies. It's like not too many. So we're like, well, what are we going to see? And she said, "How about the Fall Guy?" I said, "What's that?" And I remember there's a TV show
Right. Right.
which I never saw, and she told us. I said, "Yeah, that sounds doable." So we went. And what can I say? It was okay. Okay, it's the kind of movie I think that's an enjoyable popcorn movie, as they say. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's got all that kind of stuff you love for a fun, fast-paced kind of movie. It has Ryan Gosling in it, who my girlfriend likes a lot, and Emily Blunt, who I kind of like. Anyway, uh, and I didn't know really from the TV series what to
Yeah.
expect on this, but it was typical movies today, I guess, at times. The climax was too long. We had a decent time with it, but it went on and on and on and on and on. At the end, you know how they do that? They don't want to end it. There's
Yeah,
constant
I think
climaxes.
that's been an issue the last couple of years, Joe. And I think that's something that's turning people away too from the theaters. Is this these
You think?
the last two movies I saw in the theater were 2.5 hours long. I mean, the Kingdom of the Ape movie is 2.5 hours long. The movie I
Yeah.
saw last night was 2.5 hours long. And then you add on a half hour of trailers. Before that, I mean, you're in there for 3 hours.
Yeah. True. And the trailers. Now, another thing that gets me is when the movie starts, The Fall Guy. I'm assuming you didn't see this new movie, Tom.
No, I've got no interest in seeing this one.
The first thing you start hearing is over the Universal credit is the
Yeah.
beginning of "I Was Made for Loving You."
Yeah. Okay.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun, the
good shit.
music of it. Dun, dun, dun. I'm like, all right. They use
Mm.
that for the whole movie. That's the theme of the movie. I don't really, and then there's other older songs that he used in the movie. All the trailers, when you got to sit through like 11 trailers, they all have, the ones I saw all have old songs. I'm not a fan of these new movies. I'm just not. But there's better ones out there. The kind of the ones that Tom might recommend me. I think more drama,
Did
serious.
they play the original theme song?
I don't know the original theme song.
I'm the unknown stuntman who makes Hollywood look so
I don't
fine.
remember that. They
Okay.
played "I
Well, I
Was
had
Made
yeah.
for
That was one of the worst
the only-
shows ever made, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I can't.
And at
get
the
into
end
I've
of
heard
it-
the thing, yeah.
Oh.
The only thing that has in common is the name and the guy's name and the Ryan Gosling's name. I mean, though that's really the only thing that is connected to the TV show.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, I lost track early in the movie. What's going on? Like, you see, what's happening? I hate when that happens too. But then by the time it was going on, I got back on board with it, and it made sense. But I was like losing it. You know, I don't know. It was a good action, popcorn movie they call it. I think that kind of thing. But I wouldn't want to see it again or anything. But I don't have much to say about it. But I want to. I'm looking around here with some notes I have. Okay, I covered that. Just want to see which comments I got here. Yeah, I like the Star Trek shirt too, what that Tim is wearing there.
Everybody seems to like it. It's
I
really.
do want to go back and talk about the apes with you for
Oh
another
yeah,
minute.
let's do that for a while.
Yeah, because as I'm watching it, I'm really enjoying it as I'm watching it, and there's two scenes in there that I knew that you were gonna, if you did go see it, I knew you were gonna have big
I know what
problems
one of
with.
the I
And
do.
and the one is the doll. I mean,
First
I
one,
knew
absolutely.
as soon. However, there was one scene that as I'm watching, I'm going, oh, this is way too familiar, and I think Joe might have a problem with it. And that's right before they're walking up the shoreline. And right before they got to what was the guy's the protagonist's name?
Proximus.
Proximus. Yeah, right before they discover that place there. I'm going, oh my God, they're not going to show some kind of like familiar building and replace it for the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I'm
For
glad
like,
they didn't. They
you
didn't
know,
do. They didn't
yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. It just I don't. I'm not a fan of that stuff. It's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to be like, hey, pay tribute, homage to the
right,
original. I don't. Sometimes I don't mind. It depends how it's done. But I
yeah,
also was saying how they not. If I'm not mistaken, not only was there a doll scene in there, but they put
yeah,
the cry of Mama is the same
right,
track that was from the
yeah,
original movie.
yeah,
But I mean, I said a lot about it in my video. If you want to see
right.
it, I mean, unless you had anything else that you wanted to talk about it.
And then there was the scene in the telescope scene, and then maybe whatever it is, maybe they have seen. I think maybe that might lead to a future movie or whatever they do next.
Yeah,
I wonder if that telescope might have
it
something to do
may,
with it.
it may,
Or
it may get it. MAE. That's the
yeah,
girl's name, May.
yeah, yeah,
And you don't have to call her Nova. They called her Nova. They called
yeah,
her Nova in War for the Planet of the Apes before this.
right,
Just because there was a Nova in the original, you don't have to do that. I don't
yeah,
even like that the name of the ape in the trilogy is Caesar after they used it in the
right,
original movie. I don't like call him something else. Call him Albert or something. No, I'm not Albert, but I mean, really. But anyway, I do like the new series. I do. I like the new series, but I was joking around with people how I've been watching a lot of ranking videos of the Planet of the Apes films, and I love the original five, and it irks me no end that most people are, younger than me, 40 and younger, and they all put the new films near the top and the old films near the bottom, with the exception of Planet of the Apes with
the
Psych
original.
68.
Yeah,
That might go either one, two, three of some of them or something like that. But I understand it. I get it. But it's what you're used to, what you grew up with, and everything. And the new ones are pretty good. But I'm going to make all kinds of videos at some point about that, about my feelings on old films being dated or boring, or that there's no emotional heart in there or something. Somebody said, I'm like,
They
wow.
all have heart. I don't think there's
Yeah,
any
I know.
heart in
Well,
new
yeah, I
movies.
know.
I don't see heart in most of the newer movies I
Yeah,
see.
and they're always picking on the budget. That's going to be. I'm going to do a video one day just talking about the Apes budgets that everybody's always
right,
crying about, how the budgets went down, and they kind of equate that with quality. Meanwhile, whether you're younger or older, on almost everybody's list, almost unanimous with a few exceptions, Tim Burton's movie's always on the very bottom for everybody, and that had a huge budget.
yeah,
So
huge budget.
so it's not. To me, it's characterization, storytelling. is the main thing.
And wasn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was practical effects in that one too, right? I mean, that was
Yeah,
they didn't use
right,
CGI for the makeup or anything like that.
right. I mean, I don't know. The makeup was Rick Baker, I believe. It was all
Right,
physical prosthetics. But I
right.
mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
they use. They probably. I'm guessing they use some CGI elsewhere. But for the ape
Elsewhere,
characters,
yeah.
you know, they,
Mm,
and I say as much as I really do despise CGI, especially when they're using it for characters, people, and things instead of just like backgrounds. I don't mind so much, but this is
mhm,
motion capture. It's a
right.
little. It's not just making a cartoon out of nothing. The actor has to go through the motions, and they just layer it over with effects, CGI effects after. So the kind of acting, I guess, but I still am more impressed by a Roddy McDowell or a Kim Hunter putting those appliances
Mm,
on and having to overact with their face under the makeup, as they always described it, to try to register some kind of emotion through it, and be a
right.
lot hotter and sweating and being out in the actual desert, having to go to the desert at the in the end of the original Planet of the Apes, and they deal with the sun, and to me that's just more interesting.
Mm,
So. Yeah, but I was worried at first. I don't mean to make the whole show about the apes, although I could, but I was worried at first because I didn't get the whole thing where these humans were talking when they were supposed to be rendered mute because of the virus that was going around and made them all mute. And then here's these humans talking. Well, I was like, why are they doing that? And I'm like I said earlier, well, it's good because you do need that to carry on that there's some intelligent humans.
yeah,
Otherwise,
I
you
mean,
can't have stories, and we'll probably get an explanation.
yeah, because I mean, in the original Planet of the Apes, right? They're mute, right? But
Yeah,
then we did discover in the sequel that
you're
there
right.
there were humans that albeit beneath the
You're
Planet of
right.
the Apes, but they were able to speak.
Yeah, you're right. And I thought of that too. I thought, well, I'm going to be a big hypocrite then because I love the second movie, Beneath, which everybody puts last.
Right.
Battle or Beneath, they put right after
Mm,
Wahlberg's film, they put
mm.
Planet Beneath and Battle. But I can't imagine how behind we are. I'm sorry if I don't get all the comments. You can always repeat things if I don't bring them up, okay, folks? Because Planet of the Apes coloring books are really cool. I bought a couple. Yeah, I need a couple more. I never found out what that marijuana smell was. No, that was weird. No, they charge much less, much less. You never would have thought. You never know, right? You never know. What was the recent film that came out that bombed hard and everyone has been hating on it? Do you know what?
That's the Fall Guy. The Fall Guy. I
It
mean,
is the Fall
completely
Guy,
bombed. Fall Guy completely bombed. The movie I saw last night completely bombed as well. That I'll talk about completely bombed as well.
and by the way, I'll spoil it for you. Lee Majors has a cameo at the end for the
I
Uh,
thought
original
he was
Fall Guy.
dead.
Yeah, it's like yeah, Bionic Woman. Yeah, I thought I loved her when I was a kid. I had a crush on her.
She's great in the Rockford Files. I think she's better in the Rockford
Yeah, she's
Files
in
than
there
as a
too.
Bionic
Right, right.
Woman.
Uh, there you go. Neil Young. Well, how was the Neil Young concert?
I loved it. I loved it. Big fan of Neil Young, and he did. I mean, the bulk of it was all '70s stuff, So um, did some stuff from Zuma, the first couple albums. So I was happy.
Got to show a close up of this popcorn bucket. By the way, I didn't get popcorn with it. By the way, I didn't want to ruin it. You know, it still looks like a cartoon. I'm sorry. I mean, they do it really good. In my problems with anything in the Apes films, Apes Together Strong,
Mm,
uh, have nothing to do with the CGI. I mean, I think they do a really great job with the characters in these. Like I said, even though I don't really love CG, that's not a problem for me with these new Apes movies. Thankfully, otherwise I never would have been able to see them
mhm.
and tolerate them.
Is that the
Uh,
first? Because when I seeing Aquaman last year, I mean, I got this and I got the Aquaman popcorn bucket. That was the first time I had ever bought any special
yeah,
popcorn buckets for any movie.
yeah. Yeah, I bought something from Saw. I bought a couple of things from Saw 10. I'm not a what's MC? Is that the universe? The Marvel
Yeah,
universe?
that's Marvel.
Yeah.
That's Marvel. Yeah.
No, no. I'm not. I like the old comic books. I don't like the movies too much. Um, Lots to talk about. I'm thinking as we go on. Let me just see. No, Caesar is dead. This is like generations later after Caesar died.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no Caesar. Albert, or
If
the
you
name I
see
was going
the
to use. Nathaniel was the name I was going to use when I was writing my script. Nathaniel.
yeah. If you see the movie, they tie the last trilogy into this
Yeah.
new series.
Yeah. Gladiator is next. Sean C. Phillips says, I like apes. I love Breaking Bad. We hear that every time too. I think Breaking Bad. Oh, look.
It's a great show. It's a great show.
Well, I wasn't going to mention this guy's name, but I knew somebody would. Uh, I heard that whatever De Niro, which I've seen him by some camps referred to as just these stupid names. De Zero
Sideshow
now.
Bob. Yeah.
These Robert De Zero, latest
Yeah.
movie bomb. What movie was that? Was that another Grandpa movie or whatever the heck it is?
No, well, yeah. I mean, the movie
Oh, Killers
opens
of the Flower
tomorrow, which
Moon.
no, well, yeah. I mean, listen, the movie cost $200 million. It's over 3 hours long. You're only getting 2 or 3 screenings per theater. But here's the thing: it was very highly acclaimed. It was nominated for a lot of awards. So I mean, you could look at it as it bombed financially, maybe so, but it didn't bomb in such ways as critical. What, Tim? You
Well,
disagree?
we gotta everybody's gotta stop looking at America as the only place that watches our films. Our films are seen worldwide, and worldwide, I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee it at least broke even if it didn't make money. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean it was an Apple film, so I mean Apple is a streaming Apple TV, so that's a streaming service. So that's how a lot of these streaming services are trying to get subscribers is by getting these big name big stars to do movies. So I mean you can call it a failure if you want, but in the long run it was very successful. And De Niro was nominated for an Academy Award for that film. So there you go.
8 movies. I'm up to battle. How many more do I need to catch up? Well, I don't care what anybody says. They are not connected in any way, and they can't be. And we'll talk about that as to see what they do with the future. But we have a whole different origin for how it happened. For one thing, that's not how it happened in the original. But be that as it may, yeah. Well, there's four new ones. If you want to see the new series, have nothing to do with the old series. Just watch the four new ones. But then there's that Tim Burton one, which I wouldn't advise seeing personally, but some people may like it. Tim Burton one is just all the way out there by itself. Remake, reboot, Planet of the Apes. I was talking teddy bear. I don't know if I'd agree with this. I watched The Sting for the first time a few months back, and they cheat the audience so obviously in the last few scenes. I don't feel that. Maybe I'm missing how you mean it. I'm going to be seeing that on the big screen for the first time since the '70s next month again. Can't wait for
Hmm.
that. Hopefully it works out good. But when you say cheat them, I don't know. I'm thinking of the last few scenes. That's the whole thing. It would make you think something else is happening, but it's not happening. Twists.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll talk about cheating. One of the films I'll talk about later. I think I like it, but they cheat. Holy crap, did they cheat? Anyway.
what's this about Michael Keaton Batman?
I haven't heard anything about a third Michael Keaton Batman film.
So
All right. So why don't we take a? I've seen Walk the Line. I liked him in it. Joaquin Phoenix in it. But I think he made a good. That was a good choice. That was a good casting choice. I thought. Uh, All right. Well, let's do some of the movies that you guys have seen, and you guys can duke it out as to who'll start.
You can go first, Tom.
All right.
I've got like 9 to talk about, so go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. I just before we started here a little while ago, I picked up to get ready for the sequel. I picked up Beetlejuice. It's been a long time since I've seen this, so I'm glad I did. I remembered how much I really did enjoy this Tim Burton film before he became a shell of himself, I think. But anyways,
Mhm.
this is it's really good. Michael Keaton. Speaking of, we were talking about Michael Keaton earlier. I think he's fantastic in this. Um, and looking forward to it. Michael Keaton's returning in the sequel along with Winona Ryder. And what's the actress name that plays Winona's mom or stepmom? Forgetting her from
Oh, geez.
SCTV.
O'Hara?
Uh, O'Hara, yes, she's
Oh,
returning as well.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah. Yeah. The ninth movie that was nominated for best film. I had one of the two that I hadn't seen yet, and it just came out on my favorites genre of film, Anatomy of a Fall. Criterion just released this last week. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I can't wait. I might watch this tonight afterwards. And then 2 weeks ago, I think I showed you one of this guy's movies. He's an animator from Japan. This is another one of his movies. It's called Howl's Moving Castle. This is another one that I really liked. This guy, he did the Boy and the Heron that won best animated film last year or this year, whatever you want to say. So that. And then I did go see Furioso last night, which is it's called Furioso, a Mad Max saga, and it doesn't have anything to do with Mad Max. It's kind of the prequel story of I knew I was going to Charlize Theron, her character in that Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy. It's kind of like her prequel story, and again, that's 2.5 hours long. I really enjoyed it. I saw it in the Dolby Cinema, Dolby Atmos, and there's like 500 speakers in there, and my chair was shaking. It was rattling, vibrating throughout the whole film, and it was I really enjoyed it. However, there's a lot of bad CGI. We talked about CGI. Those early Mad Max films, especially the Road Warrior and the third one, Beyond Thunderdome, they used practical effects, right? In those, there's a lot of CGI in these last two films, and however, I kind of understand, right? You don't want anybody to get hurt, but it just doesn't look as real as those the Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome did. So that kind of ruined the experience a little bit. But the characters were really cool, and I just love these. I love the post-apocalyptic story. I just really get a kick out of a lot of them. There's a bunch of really good ones out there. But I did enjoy this one. It bombed terribly. It only made like 25 million over the weekend, and this was like $170 million film. So it'll be lucky if it gets its money back from worldwide. But it's I don't think there'll be another Mad Max film. The guy that directed it, George Miller, he directed the original. He directed all of them, and he's like 80 now. So I don't see there being another one, especially this one just takes a big nosedive financially. If you like the series, I definitely do recommend seeing Furiosa. Sorry.
But that's crazy when you think that how
Yeah,
much money a movie
right,
has to make these days. I
right.
mean, it's crazy. What do they need to make?
Because
400, 500 million or something?
Yeah, because they split it almost 50-50 with the theater chain, right? And then they're spending millions upon $1 million of advertising, right? So it definitely is a crapshoot, you know.
Mhm.
Especially when the last one that came out 9 years ago, that Mad Max Fury Road is 9 years old now, you know. So you're dealing with a secondary character who wasn't the main stars, and then you're telling her story. So that Mad Max Fury Road made under 400 million worldwide, so it wasn't a big massive hit either. So I was really surprised that he was able to make this, but I'm glad he did because I thought it was pretty good.
All righty. So Tim, I guess you're up then.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with old, but it's not gonna stay old. A few of the movies are quite modern, which is for me is I'm trying to watch more modern movies. But I
Oh,
started out the other day. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna watch all of the Marx Brothers movies that
oh.
I have because
Oh,
I've only seen a handful of them, and so I watched two of their quote unquote, I think, lesser films. I watched Room Service
Oh,
and
I hate room service. I like the
at
other
the
one.
circuit. And you know what? I thought both of these were very funny. I liked the
mm,
characters. I liked the plots. I'm like, wow. I was very impressed by these movies. I thought they were very, very good. So I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, because I
So
want to be able like if anybody can chime in, let's do so. I'm just trying to
yeah.
remember. There's one I really didn't. I mean, I saw all of them because I hadn't seen them
Mhm.
growing up, and I finally saw them all. I liked a bunch, few of them I really liked, and one of them I really didn't. I think Room Service for me was the one I didn't like. I think I like the least. I think is that the one where they're having a dinner in a hotel room or a turkey or something. You
Yeah,
remember?
yeah. I mean, that
Yeah,
was
that was
just
my least favorite.
total zaniness, but I liked it.
Mm.
But so then there's a butt coming. So then I got this out, which has 5 movies on it. And I
okay.
watched Coconuts. And I'm like,
Ah,
okay,
that's
this
a
is
good.
one
I
of the
like that
worst
one.
movies I've ever seen. And I stopped watching the Marx
Really?
Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah. I hated Coke. Hated, hated,
okay.
hated Coconuts.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
earliest one? Or
Yeah, that's
Animal?
one of the earliest ones. I don't know if it's their earliest one, but it's one of the early. So I'm not going to give up. I will go back, but
Yeah.
I stopped for now because I
What
was
else is
like,
on there,
okay.
Tim? What is on there?
Animal crackers, monkey business, horse feathers, and duck soup.
Yeah,
And I
which
have
I think
another
is one of their
collection with 2
best.
more movies on it too. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
stopped for now just because I dislike Coconuts so much.
Hmm.
Coconuts is really early in the song. Was it Irving Berlin wrote the songs, and they're awful. And you know, and it's that typical very early 30s singing that's so dramatic, and the
Yeah, I
women on
remember
the
disliking one of
banquets
the early ones. That might have been it.
and it was just anyway, it stopped my Marx Brothers journey for now.
Hmm.
So
Real
I
quick,
moved
hold on,
on.
Tim. Tim, 1 second. Yes, Henry, that's the movie I'm talking about. But go ahead, Tim.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna laugh, but I hadn't seen this in so long, and I remember enjoying it. So I watched Making Mr. Right.
I don't
Who's
know
in
that.
that? John? Is that
Um, is that
John
John
Malkovich?
Malkovich? And
Oh, I
I don't
thought it was
even know
Nicholson.
her name, but she's
Malkovich.
gorgeous. Anne
Mm,
Magnuson. She's and I remember really liking her. And John Malkovich is 2 roles. He's a scientist and he creates an android in his own image. And he's a complete dick. And the android turns out to be really nice, and she falls for the android, and the android falls for her, and it's a cool 80s movie. It's fine. There's
oh, that's before
Malkovich.
he became a household name, then, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is early-ish in his career. Yeah. So I
Okay.
watched that. Good flick. I recommend it. And I just watched this today, Tom. And I'm saying Tom because I think you know this movie fairly well. Vanishing Point. Maybe you don't.
Oh, remind me.
It,
It looks familiar.
it's a car chase movie with one of the
Mm.
worst ending. I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but holy crap! But this is maybe the best car chase movie ever made. And
Hmm.
it's got 2 versions. It's got a British version and American version. The British version's like 12 minutes longer, so I watched the British
Yeah,
one.
so yeah, the British version probably could get away with certain things that the American version didn't, or
Yeah,
whatever.
well, I mean,
Mm.
and it's got Joe hates this guy because of a certain movie, but it's got Dean Jagger in it. I mean,
Oh,
Dean Jagger was
Where do I
in.
hate him from? Wait a minute.
You hate him because he's in one of your least favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Tell me, because I don't know.
He's in White Christmas.
Oh,
Christmas.
I didn't even
No.
know he was in it. But
He's the general in White Christmas. He owns the ranch, the ski resort.
No, I don't. Geez, I saw it once, and that's that.
And he's in the, I like him because he always plays this slow talking guy. I think that he's just playing himself. I think he is a very slow talking guy. Anyway, fantastic car chase movie. I'm not going to do a spoiler thing, but the end, it's just weird. And you don't know why it's happening. Finally, they go through it a little bit, but you still don't know why it's happening. Even after the whole movie's over, you're like, why did he do this? And you don't really know. But it's one of it's probably the best of the car chase movies. It's one big car chase. It opens with a car chase, and 145 minutes later, no, it's not that long. It's an hour. It's an hour and 45 minutes. Anyway, and the entire thing is
105 minutes.
Yeah, 105 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, but the movies I want to talk about more. Well, I'm going to talk about the two movies I streamed. I finally got to see Asteroid City.
Wes Anderson.
That was
Wes
on
Anderson.
Amazon Prime, and I'm confused by it. I mean, I love Wes Anderson. But I'm confused. I see what people say when they were like, he made it for arts. It's an art for art's sake kind of movie, and it kind of is. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really have a purpose. I like the idea that the whole film is a play sort of within a play. It's a thing within a thing, which I kind of like.
I think he's just too. I think this whole Wes Anderson thing is just so built up that it's I mean, it's a Wes Anderson film, but it's just like he's to the level now that it's just like I don't even know how to explain. Well, while I'm watching this film, I'm just like, this is like Wes Anderson puked all over himself. There's just so much of Wes Anderson that you can't tell it from anything else.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be artificial. That's the thing that's hard to get around. It's supposed to be artificial because it is the bulk of the movie is a play, supposedly, and that's the weird part. The reality is a play, and it's almost like the other things that happen are the play and not the reality. It's very. I want to watch it again, maybe, because it's very, and I wish I had some special features or something. But anyway,
I mean, it seemed like everybody and their mother was in that movie too. It's like Tom Hanks is in there, Steve Carell, Scarlett Johansson.
Everybody.
It just seemed like there was so many people in that film.
Yeah. Bill Murray was missing, weirdly.
Right.
But everybody else was in there.
Oh yeah, Two-Lane Blacktop. Yeah.
Oh. I haven't seen that, and I've seen a lot of car chase movies, but I have not seen that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, James Taylor and the what's the Wilson brother, the Dennis Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Is in there. Yeah.
All right.
Tim, do you have Go West with the Marx Brothers? I don't remember that being a strong
the other
one.
box that I didn't show because I stopped.
I don't remember Hannah and her sisters being a Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, maybe they eat Thanksgiving dinner. I don't remember it. I like the movie. I don't remember that.
They get together for some reason, so maybe it's Thanksgiving. I don't remember. It's been.
I don't think of it as a Thanksgiving movie.
But they do get together for some.
By the way, Henry, it seems like you've said this before, but I think vaping is just as bad. I don't know if
it might be worse. But anyway, I want to talk about the second movie that I streamed, which I did not have high hopes for, and it's now I liked it, and I was surprised how much I actually liked it. I watched Old. Have either of you two seen Old?
Oh, the M. Night
Shyamalan movie from.
And I like him too, and I didn't know about this one.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
And I think he's back on form with this movie compared to some of his other ones. I really do. I think it's one of his better movies. It's if anybody has Prime, you can watch it on Prime for free. Basically, these people, and there's a few groups of people, go to this island resort, and they're taken to this special place, and that only select people get to go to. And it turns out once they're there, and I'm not going to give any spoil. You'll learn this in the first half hour of the movie, so I'm not going to give any spoilers beyond that. In this place, time moves very, very quickly. That's why it's called old.
Oh,
So I mean, it's like a year is like a half an hour in time, something like that.
That shows you how well I remember that other movie. But yeah, as far as old goes, too bad they don't slow time down a little bit.
And there's a reason for, the whole. There's not a reason for that. It's just this one place that this is happening, but they're brought there for a reason, and blah blah blah. And I mean, you care about these characters, and there's slight spoiler. A lot of them don't make it. I won't because they're old. You only have like 2 days to live if you're young living there. So
wow.
So, it's not.
Better make sure you listen to the Beatles.
It was very good. I enjoyed the heck out of this movie, and I was surprised that I liked it that well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
I've still got 2 more movies to talk about. I told you I had a lot. I saw this, and I recommend anybody that likes film should watch this movie if you never have. I never did till Cinema Paradiso.
Oh yeah.
Boy, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some more watching, I think.
It's not what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was a war film, actually.
Yeah.
In war, it's not. This was just, and the weird thing about this, if you buy, probably most copies have the theatrical version and the director's cut, and the director's cut is completely different. It's like watching a different movie. And
is it 2 discs? Is it 2 discs or one?
Yeah, there's 2 discs. So the director's cut on one, and this theatrical on the other. But the theatrical is a very uplifting, positive movie, and the theatrical cut is much less so. And the theatrical cut is almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I've only seen the theatrical. I haven't seen this director one that you're talking about.
Well, yeah, the director one goes into the main character, the boy, when he grows up, his lost relationship, and how the relationship got lost, and he meets her again 30 years later, and it's a completely different film. It turns it into a completely different film. They're both great. I don't know which one I like better. Maybe the theatrical cut, but both. It's stunning film. Just
incredible. I would, if you like world cinema, I think you guys, anybody should check that out.
It won Best Foreign Film in 1990, and it should have. And I mean, there's no doubt it should have. Fantastic film. And my last one, I finally got to see this. It was $5. It was in the $5 Walmart bin. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for that to happen. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Finally, you saw that, huh?
Not what I expected at all. I figured out what it was about, kind of, in 15 or 20 minutes.
Really?
And then this is the one I was talking about, cheating. You think you know what it's about, and you don't.
Because if you know what it's about, tell me, because that's what I don't like about it. To me, it's not about nothing. But I do
about nothing. He changes history. He rewrites history in this film completely.
I'm a Tarantino fan, but I'm not. It's not among my favorites. That one personally.
I liked it a lot, but it was just so. I couldn't believe the ending. I'm waiting, and wait a minute. What?
Especially
it was brutal.
That,
the brutal ending.
It's a brutal ending.
Yeah,
sure,
it was brutal, but it wasn't the ending that actually happened in real life by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
not at all.
Even even the whole Brad Pitt and Bruce Lee. I mean, that's rewriting.
Yeah.
That was rewriting history as well. I mean, nothing like that ever occurred.
No.
No.
I knew. Well, the two main characters weren't real. The three main characters, I don't think, were real people.
Mm.
But
Right.
most of the other ones were, and that's where
Mm.
it gets really weird, But anyway, I enjoyed it. It won't be in my top couple Tarantino films, but I thought it was really good, and I'm glad
Well,
I
I'm glad you
finally
saw it.
got to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I used to always
finally.
say the same thing. I always say whenever that one comes up, I think it looks great. I think it looks like, I believe if it's 1969, like I really
Right.
feel like it's that
Yeah.
period.
And
And I'm very disappointed in that the very tense and well done ranch scene, the scene on the ranch goes
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yes.
And I
It
wait for
goes. Yeah.
something to
that's the
happen.
whole thing
Yeah.
about this movie. For a Tarantino movie, 75 to 80% of it isn't tense like a Tarantino movie. It's kind of laid back and kind of just goes, which is very odd for
Yeah.
one of his films. And
Then
then
there
at
was
the
also
end, it gets very intense.
there's
No, it
also a
did. It
scene
was
that
intense. I said I felt
yeah.
the ranch scene was very
Well,
intense.
the ranch scene, yeah, but most of the
Yeah.
movie wasn't at
It
all.
didn't go anywhere, right? And then
Yeah,
there's a scene where he's just got his camera on Leo. He's just sitting there. He's in his like Western makeup, and he's just
yeah.
the camera's on him for like 10 minutes. And and you're just like, okay, it doesn't. You made your point after 5 minutes. All right, let's get the camera off him and let's get this movie going.
Well, there's
You know?
more of that in the
Yeah,
stuff they didn't
yeah.
use. There's a lot more of that in the special features. But I think it didn't go anywhere because of what it was about. He was building up your expectations of what was eventually going to happen, and then it doesn't happen at all.
Mm.
And you get a happy ending,
like, well,
really.
wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute.
It's the way you wish
Wait a
it
minute.
would have turned out. Maybe he
Right.
can do a John Lennon one too one day and make it a
Yeah.
happy ending.
Yeah,
that would be good.
yeah.
Change
But
the
anyway,
subject now.
that's all. That's the movies that I saw.
Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good,
Pretty
Tim.
good.
That was really
Yeah.
good to hear all
That's
those.
a good variety. Good variety.
Well, at least I know I'm not crazy if Marx Brothers fans usually trash the film as their worst. Oh, what I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, it's Darren Gamble. Hello,
Well,
Darren Gamble.
yeah.
What?
Hey,
How many are
Darren.
you buying?
But
I miss
yeah.
you, Darren.
But yeah. But you saw this person last year for the second time because you
This
said
person,
this is
mysterious
yeah,
person. Let's talk
yeah,
about it
yeah,
already.
yeah. Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss.
There's also controversy with Richard Dreyfuss. He was I think, in Boston. Was it in Boston?
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be at a screening. He was at a screening for
It's
Jaws,
reading
and he was
right.
going to do a talk. Now I know the guy's very political, and he's written a book. And a lot of times when he appears somewhere, he uses that to go on about what his beliefs and everything, and he makes a speech. Um, and he did that even when I saw him a year ago or so at a horror convention, chiller convention. It was horror, science fiction, everything really. That convention is. It's just anything with entertainment. It's not. It started as a horror years ago. Now it's everything. But anyway, so he went to this Jaws thing, and everybody was expecting him to pretty much tell anecdotes and discuss Jaws. Instead, he got on his high horse and started, giving his opinion. And a lot of people were not happy, apparently, and people walked out, and this and that and the other thing. That's what I read.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't go. So like Tom was saying, I had already seen Jaws on the big screen a lot of times, even since it was released, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
next year for the 50th anniversary, there's going to have to be Jaws showings next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Richard Dreyfuss, like I say, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, about a year, and
Yeah.
it worked out. It was a good meeting. It was a good meeting, so I'm like, fine,
Because
I'm good.
you said the first one he was a little grouchy or
Yeah, the
whatever,
first
right?
one was in 2009, and he wasn't in a good mood. Let's put it that way.
Mm,
Kind of
okay.
grouchy or something. But then I saw him again in 2023, and it was good. So I was
Mm,
very happy because I mean, to me that's a big thing. I mean, I loved a lot of his movies growing, not just Jaws, but other movies as well. And
Hmm.
it just was a kick to get to see him under decent circumstances. So that's that. Um, and I guess what we can do, unless anybody has other stuff, just
Now,
keep. Go ahead.
did you know about that that he was going to do that?
Yeah, I knew he was going to
The
do
the
that in
event.
advance, and what I meant
Okay.
what meant was to say was that I was thinking, oh wow, it'll be nice to go there, but because of what I
Right.
just explained, I felt I already got
Mm-hmm.
my fill. All right, so we didn't sit
Mm-hmm.
there and talk about the film beforehand. I didn't see him do that. But then again, he didn't do much of that either this time, as it turned out.
Right.
Apparently, he didn't talk, from what I understand. So he took the
Yeah.
opportunity to like talk about controversial things and this and that and the
Uh,
other thing. And I could see one guy I read said I left, didn't even see the movie because he felt it just put such a damper on the night. And that can
mm,
happen, I think in
yeah.
a case like that.
Because yeah, we're getting a screening of Star Trek 2 here, and I think in September or something like that. I forgot when, and Shatner's going to be there. So I'm thinking about going to that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that what they showed that at the theater that the theater I go to. In fact, tomorrow is Pulp Fiction. We talk about Tarantino. They're showing Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction tomorrow. Turns out I will not be going, and I'm kind of surprised in myself because I love that movie. That's my favorite Tarantino movie. It's the first one I saw. It's probably my favorite. I think it's one of the greatest films ever made. That's a lot of films.
Yeah.
I still see it. I put a nice modern film in there, even though it's 30 years old now. Oh, but um, I don't know. Well, I'm probably not going to go tomorrow. There's still time if I want. But I last time I
Yeah.
saw that on the big screen was in '94.
Yeah. Yeah,
Last
I
time
mean,
I saw it.
I saw it 5 days in a row at the theater. And if there was a special screening, I would consider, yeah, because that's what, 30 years ago now. Yeah,
Uh,
30 years ago. Oh my God. So I would consider going to see it at in a big screen again. Yeah.
Gotta see that Gladiator, man. I gotta put it on my list. Let me put it on my to-do list here. I got my book here. Watch Gladiator
Yeah.
right
And
after I
as
watch
you
The
know,
Werewolf of Washington.
I wasn't talking about Michael Moore. I consider him a director. So directors have a point of view. They're supposed to. I don't have to agree with
Mm.
it, but they're supposed to. I'm talking
Right.
about an actor. I'm talking about an actor
Right.
that's not supposed to have a point of view as far as in the movie. So
I don't know if
Mm.
Tom would agree with that. Would you?
No, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I still think great movies are still being made. I just don't think I think the studios are killing themselves. I think the movie chains are killing themselves. Um, but I still think good movies are still being made.
I think eventually you're gonna get some small um unless they're
Yeah,
gobbled up, which could be these days. But I think the
yeah,
future of movies lies in smaller
yeah,
companies making smaller films that they can
yeah.
easily make the money back and then a profit.
There you
Um,
go. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, that would be.
that's what studios are doing. Studios are spending, 100 million to $300 million on these big budget films that they're
yeah,
never going to get their money back for them. And but then the theaters then they're ruining the experience by playing a half hour's worth of trailers. If a ticket says the movie starts at 2:30, it better start at 2:30. Why do I have to sit through a half hour of commercials and trailers
yeah.
before the movie starts?
Yeah, that's really annoying. It really is. Way too many.
Yeah.
And I never saw the first Joker. The last one I saw was the Heath Ledger one. What
Mm.
was that?
Oh yeah,
Batman.
Dark Knight Returns.
That was the last Joker related movie that I saw.
Heath
Heath.
Ledger. Yeah.
Yeah. Best twist in a movie. There's a lot of them. I don't even know where to begin. Planet of the Apes, the original. Even though now
Well, it's a
everybody
good
knows what's
twist.
going on.
That's a good twist.
Westworld.
Good,
There's no
good
twist in
twist.
Westworld.
No, no,
I don't know.
um,
Is there? Maybe. Changes tone.
I don't know.
Changes tone. Uh that's a good twist. there's a lot of twists in Death Trap. Have you seen Death Trap yet? That's the one you wanted to see, right, Tom? Was it?
Death
Did you
Trap was which one
did
was
you
that?
say, or did somebody else say they wanted to see Death Trap? With Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve, and
Oh yes, yes. It's on my Amazon wish list.
yeah,
I'll be
that's not.
picking it up soon.
Let's definitely not
Yeah,
talk too much about that one,
yeah,
folks, because there's a lot of twists in that.
yeah.
That's what I.
Mhm.
And like I said, I went into, again, if you remember, I went into the movies. It said sneak preview, 8 p.m. Christopher Reeve and Michael Caine, and I said I like both of them.
Right,
Let's see it.
right.
I didn't even give you the
Mhm.
title of the movie.
Yeah. Well, Ali, that's why writers and actors, took part in a strike last year, was to prevent and studios from using more AI in their productions. So let's just hope they continue getting their way, and AI doesn't take over.
Yeah. Yeah. AI really creeps me out, and everybody it just does. I think to some degree. Yeah, I'm not a big Kevin Spacey guy. I don't know what all the hoopla is about Kevin Spacey.
I think he's made some really good movies. I mean, Glenn Ross. I think he was fantastic in that. But everybody was fantastic in that movie. Um,
Pacino now is the man. Pacino.
I didn't think the movie was great, but K-Pax, I thought he was really good in it. I didn't
hey,
think the
Jeff
movie was
Bridges,
great,
right? Yeah, yeah,
but
Jeff Bridges.
but,
Yeah, I thought that was good too. Yeah,
but he was really you weren't
yeah.
sure at the end of the movie what was he, I, I forget if he was a time traveler or an alien. It's been so long since I've seen it, but
Mm,
you weren't sure at the end anyway whether he
yeah,
was or wasn't.
right. Yeah,
Hopefully we'll be gone by then.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
I don't
Hopefully, we'll be gone, and then
uh,
all these kids can deal with it.
enjoy it,
If
kiddies.
they do, they'll just be about marketing because that's what AI is best at. It's best at marketing things. Um, yeah.
So I'm trying to think. What any other movie thoughts? There's lots of movies. We got time yet, 20 minutes or so if you want. But I'm just trying to think what else there was. Come on. See,
You didn't know you never picked up the Mask of Fu Manchu?
no, that's I got to remember. That's just a matter of remembering. But on the way I do it, of
Yeah,
course, I got to
yeah,
go and purchase a gift card, the Amazon gift
yeah,
card, and then you put the gift card on.
yeah,
But I'd like to do that with a few movies,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And
But
then
I
I
do have
sent you the yeah, and I sent you the information on that Blu-ray Laurel and Hardy box
Three
set too, I
Stooges.
think. Yeah. Oh, it's Three Stooges.
Let's
But
talk about
they
that.
announced they announced the Laurel and Hardy one as well
Oh, I didn't know
last
that.
night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Laurel and Hardy one I got to look into, but the Three Stooges
Yeah.
one, I didn't. I mean, I should have read it more closely. You sent me. I looked at it. I said
Yeah.
they said like 100. They're not going to have all the shorts in it. So I
I
don't
don't
want.
know.
I don't really want to.
Yeah.
If not all of them
Yeah.
are in there, it's like I don't know how many exactly. I think 190 something Stooges shorts are in there. They made,
Okay.
and they're not 190 in there. And the ones I like happen to be more of the ones they would not include in there. I'm tired. I mean, I see. I'm sorry, folks. That's how I am with the Stooges. You put on Me TV, and they're showing the same ones. Ants in the Pantry. False alarms.
Yeah.
Plumbing we will go. The curly ones. Enough. I want to see some of the other ones after Shemp died, and they used to stand in and stuff. I just like to see the ones that aren't tired, like anything else. Like slash.
I got Maniac, I guess, would
There
be
you
your
go.
favorite
Yeah,
slash. Mm.
yeah. Those Shempless Stooge shorts are still fun to watch. Yeah, because they have Mo and Larry doing new scenes, and they do not nude, new scenes.
So those
I
shorts were just two Stooges, not three? Is that what
no.
Shempless means? Is that what Shemp? What
Well,
does it mean by
they
Shempless?
reuse footage from old shorts with Shemp. Use Shemp footage from old shorts and to make it like new, did new footage with Mo and Larry and incorporated old
Yeah.
Shemp into it.
And they would do the reverse sometimes too. They got us after Stooge died, like after Curly died, they would take an old short and Shemp and redo some of the Curly parts with Shemp, and they reused a lot of
Yeah.
footage actually over the
And
years.
and then you got to realize back then it wasn't like today, right? Where it was on TV and you'd see one after the other,
Yes,
or you have a Blu-ray set. You can see everything one after the other. Back then, you had to be in a movie theater that just happened to be showing the
Yeah.
short.
Yeah,
You,
and some of them were easily 10 years old or older too. So,
I'm laughing at this. I'm going to highlight after this. I'll highlight it after this. Opinions
We're
on the
not laughing at you. Yeah.
Tim Burton's Planet of
Go
the Apes.
ahead.
Listen, I waited almost 30 years for a Planet of the Apes movie. I was a diehard fanatic my whole life up to that point. I couldn't wait for them to do this another movie, and they gave me that piece of garbage. First of all, he didn't take it seriously. There's too much insane comedy in it, and they're not taking the apes seriously. It's a gag, and it just he didn't have the core of what the apes movies meant. This new series, even if I think there might be some limitations in it compared to the originals, it has the heart and soul of the apes movies in there. That's what I like about the new series. Basically, you got to examine bigotry, prejudice, trying to get along, trying to make out together and come along. Species joining together and sharing the world. That old stuff is what it mainly was about.
Mhm.
Yeah, the old ape taking off his toupee to go to bed and putting his teeth in the glass. Yeah, I mean stuff like that. Get lost, get lost. Now I know people go, "There's comedy in the other ones too." There's comedy, yeah, but the whole thing wasn't taken as a joke, man. It drives me nuts. Anyway, that's just me. And what
Mm.
was that about the? Is your here it is? Here's your opinion. This is Apple Pit's opinion.
That's your opinion.
Africa Screams interesting. Yeah. They got Shemp and Joe Besser in there, two Stooges in there. Yeah, in an Abbott and Costello movie. Yeah, and by the way, this bong hitting is no longer going to be a part of Mayo's channel. What do you think of that? So, no more. It was funny while it lasted. Oh yes, I saw this abomination. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I mean, I don't care about Willy Wonka one way or the other. Talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But if I'm going to take Willy Wonka, it's going to be the Gene Wilder one.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I did see that at the theater, and I thought it was terrible.
and I wouldn't see Dark Shadows either. That
No,
was,
I
you
have
know.
no interest in seeing that whatsoever. None.
Nothing.
But I like
I
Batman. What can I say? What is this? Passion of the Christ 2, The Resurrection. Is that real? That's not real, is it?
No,
Are you serious?
no, and it's not a fact either.
Oh, it's a
No,
fact.
it says it's a fact. Whatever it says.
What, the
Oh, no.
resurrection or the movie? Oh man, save yourself. Uh, you can talk afterwards. Come on, man. Uh, well, this is a great discussion tonight we're having. Ooh.
Let's see how quickly you delete it too afterwards.
Well,
Yeah.
now that you've given the call for people to save it, that probably would do me no much good.
It was for a while.
There you go. Yeah, I know that lung, boy. That's really bad. Well, you can't be doing that nonstop and be well. I'm worried about that. It's a fact here too.
Yeah,
Where would you recommend someone start with them, Joe?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, sound films for sure, not the silent ones.
Okay.
Even though silent ones are fine. Would you agree, Tim? But the sound, you got to see
Yeah.
the talkies to start. I would just get the series that has all of them in it. The Hal Roach. They got to be the Hal Roach ones. Don't watch the movies that come later, the Fox movies, in the in the
Okay.
1940s. You don't want those.
Some of those are okay, but
I think they're underrated. Most of them.
There's lots of shorts on YouTube. Watch a couple on YouTube, and then if you like what you see, go out and look for a nice set.
Well, have you seen any? Well, you saw the one. You liked the bit with Blockhead, the movie Blockheads. That's the one when they were doing the carrying them around the.
Yeah, but that was the only scene I saw of that.
Yeah, and that's like 1938, I think that is. I think. And they started the first talkie was 29, I think.
Mm.
30, 30. So the whole Hal Roach period goes up to 1940. It goes from like 29 to 40, and there's some feature films in there as well as the shorts. But the shorts are all good, man. Most of them anyway. 98% of them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But what's the name of it? The Essential Laurel and Hardy.
But it's got to be the Hal Roach.
Oh, but you want the Hal Roach. Well, there's a Blu-ray set out that I never got because they didn't have all of them in it. But I think
Mm.
try the Blu-ray set. I forget the name of it. Make sure it's Hal Roach.
Mm. Yeah.
Same thing with the Little
That's
Rascals. Yeah, unaccustomed as we are, first Laurel and Hardy sound film shot in April 1929. First time they got to hear their
mhm.
voices, people. Why didn't you tell me you had two
Oh my
legs?
God.
You
Yeah,
didn't ask me.
and the silents are funny, but they didn't have their characters down pat yet either.
Yeah.
Like Stanley's hair wasn't messed up yet, and they weren't bumping into each other constantly, and the stuff that everybody claims to know wasn't there yet, because they done quite a few films together before they were actually put as a team, just playing just roles in the same film.
Hmm.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Man, I've been going back to that stuff the last
Have
Pepsi.
you?
2 weeks,
Mm.
3 weeks.
Mm.
I started drinking
Oh, that
Spice,
that.
Coke Spice.
Oh, really?
This is
The dirty
raspberry.
version of the record store video was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that
The
was a.
disgusting one
It
or
was just a
whatever
lot
it
of
was.
gross things that all came at once,
Yeah.
pretty much. So
Yeah.
I had to look for. You try to look for a title, This is it.
Yeah.
The Laurel and Hardy Definitive Restorations, a 6-disc collection. Yeah, see, the only thing that bothers me is I wish they put them all. They're gonna put volume 2 out or something. I can't stand when they do that. They just put like the bet. Like,
Mm.
so they're all good, but it's not full.
Let's see if I can find it.
Look it up. I'd like to look it up myself. I don't have the time. What am I doing this now for? I got a show to run.
But the thing is, it costs a lot of money to restore things, and so maybe they put half of them out, and they're going to do a volume 2 because raise some money to do volume 2 because again, it costs a fortune to restore
Well,
this
yeah,
stuff.
they do, but other people do them. Like, what about let's use Hal Roach with our gang. They put all
And
those out.
they did them one at a time, and then they used the money they got from the first one to work on, and that's what they kept doing.
Right, and it was.
Um,
Is it a different company?
This is it's regular price is $59.95, but Amazon right now has it for $37.85.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to find the company that put it out here. It's Kit Parker Films. It's a studio, I guess. I guess it
Oh,
came out. This came out in 2020. 8 hours and 31 minutes. 4 discs. Trying to find out what's on it.
and don't forget those great. I'm looking for something. The Great Little Rascals films,
I love that one.
and those got it.
Uh,
Which is new.
Okay, over 8 hours exclusive rarities feature films: Son of the Desert and Way Out West, classic short subjects, Birthmarks, The Battle of the Century, Bratz, Busybodies, The Chimp, Come Clean, uh, County Hospital, Helpmates, Hog Wild, Me and My Pal, Midnight Patrol, The Music Box, One Good Turn, Scram, Their First Mistake, Towel in the Hole, and Twice Two.
You can't go wrong with any of those. And plus, my favorite thing by anything by them is Sons of the Desert, which is a feature.
Yeah.
And
So there are feature films and then shorts. Yeah.
I think that's worth it. It's worth it it's worth it.
Yeah. Restoration by people from UCLA Film. So I mean, it looks like they really, put the effort. There's some commentaries on there, so I would love that. They got 17 shorts, including the legendary pie fight silent film, The Battle of the Century, making its video debut. So
What's Battle of the
that's
Century? Is that a silent?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a yeah.
Yeah, 1930 to 35, the absolute pinnacle for me. 20, 30 minutes of nonstop perfection for the
Mm,
most part. Well, I go up to 38 or 40 even. Well, 40
yeah.
is Saps at Sea, the last, the Chump at Oxford. Those are features. But
I'm gonna
yeah.
put this on my Amazon wish list.
Well, if
I don't know when
you,
I'll
I mean,
get it, but
what have
I'll
you
add it to
seen?
my
What
wish.
Laurel and Hardy have you seen besides that walking
I
the
c-
scene
I
in
I haven't
Blackhead?
seen any. I haven't watched any. They've never really, you know,
Well,
did
again,
anything for me. So,
watch a couple
but I'll
on
check it
YouTube.
out.
Watch a
Yeah,
couple on
yeah,
YouTube. See what you think.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
They're funny.
I mean, some people think they got their pacings like slower. Like it is slower than like the Three Stooges. Like Three
I
Stooges or
can
something.
handle. I can handle, slower pace, slow, as long
Yeah.
as as long as it, comes to a good conclusion.
Oh, some of those endings, the conclusions are pretty good. They have like weird things. Like when the guy, like one of this bully said, I'll twist you and I'll twist your
Mm.
head around next time I see you," and then he sees them. I forget which one that is, and then it ends with their heads are twisted, and they're
Uh,
like walking backwards or something. That's funny. Oh, you're kidding me! You're kidding me! No, no, is that the one with that terrible music in it, or is that no? The
I
Devil's Brother.
saw that recently.
Is that the one with the music in it? That awful music.
Yeah, it does. But the film itself was okay. I thought it wasn't bad, but yeah, the music kind of,
God, I mean, I mean, I don't mind some old music, but that's what do they call
Yeah,
that
well,
singing?
that's like the music in Coconuts. I don't mind old music. Like
Yeah, yeah, but
The Andrews sisters in Abbott and Costello films is a perfect example. I like that.
no, I like
But
that too. But what is
but
this
you
called? This I
know,
forget what the kind of singing's called in these things. Not
uh,
cadenza, cadenza.
but the music in Coconuts is almost light opera. It's horrible.
Yeah, I think the essential collection. The thing is, that's DVD, but I think they're pretty good on there. But they're definitely going to look better on the definitive ones. But the essential collection has all of them, and definitive
mm,
restorations on Blu-ray doesn't have all of them, but they're better restored. Right? They're good on. They look good on the essential collection too, though. Oh, the live ghost is where their heads are turned around.
Hmm.
Uh, yes, I love the Devil's Brother with the awful music. Oh God, there was an Abbott and Costello movie I saw, but they had that awful music in it. It was Rio Rita, I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, like it's not just because it's old. I like all the old music in the
Well,
Laurel, Abbott and Costellos. I like.
that was made. They were lent out for that film. That was made by
You
another
know,
studio, and that's part of the
I like an
reason the main
operetta.
studio wasn't doing that to them. But that was a loan out to whatever other studio. You
Yeah,
won't
it's an
find
opera.
that in boxes or anything because it's made by another studio.
You might like it. I mean, you like opera, Tom, or did you just?
love opera.
Oh,
I'm going to go to an opera on my birthday next year, actually.
what's going on with the Odd Couple? Anything? No.
Oh, shit.
Man.
Well,
I
I,
know, I know, I know. I gotta get back to it.
when I was married, my wife bought season tickets to see the Washington D.C. Symphony Orchestra. It was like once a
Mm.
month or something. I mean, it was once a week. I can't remember. But so I go there, right? I put on my suit, my tie, and everything, and I go there, and it's vocal classical music, and I'm like,
Oh,
classical music is fine, and even opera's okay, but vocal classical is neither of those. It's I'm just like, finally, she found somebody else to go with. That it's the only time I had to go. She understood that I was like
She
literally
understood.
in pain. I was literally in
Yeah.
pain. I was like, oh no, 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 no.
I guess that guy West stopped asking me if I saw a Secret of the Incas yet. I gotta wait till I retire. Oh, yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
mention when you said George Raft. What's your favorite George Raft film? This one. I remember seeing the Ida Lupino's in this too, isn't she?
They drive by night. Yeah.
The Drive by Night. And I remember liking that, or at least her in it.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty monotone. He's one of my least favorite actors. Don't.
Yeah, I've never been a big George. I mean, he's good as a bit character. I
Yeah,
don't mind him
yeah.
in some stuff, but you know,
Wound up a heavy drinker, and that was that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not my kind of music too. God.
And somebody was mentioning quite a while ways back about the Laurel and Hardy, like year one, and I know about that. The channel I watch like once a month that shows silent films had something to do with that. I think it's a collection of Laurel and Hardy, or Laurel or Hardy. It's like all as much as early stuff survives before they were actually a team. Now they're
mhm,
both in some of the films, but they weren't a team yet.
hmm.
And yes, I know about that box, and it's interesting.
Are they both Americans or are they European?
No, Stan Laurel is British, right?
Yeah,
UK,
Yeah,
and
so they came
yes,
over. They came over.
Hardy's
Yeah.
in Georgia.
yeah.
Okay.
Hardy's
Oh, so
American, and
one's British. Okay.
Yeah.
it's weird watching the early silence with Stan Laurel, because the film they eventually changed the way they made film stock, but this happened with certain people. Their pupils don't show up in their eyes. It's got something to do with the film. So you see early Stan Laurel films and you just see these white eyes, and it's very disconcerting. Like
Yeah, I
the
think I remember
pupils
seeing that,
and the
something like
pupils and
that.
the irises are just gone. It
Now I
just
know
seems
why.
yeah, it's got, and about by like 27 or 28, maybe even earlier than that, it changes and suddenly everything's fine again. But it's weird watching his early films.
Well, Carl, right? We disagree on things because A Haunting We Will Go, from what I remember, was the one I liked least of those later ones. Well, actually, the one I it's not, and it's nothing to do with a haunting. It's nothing to do with a haunted house or anything, but for one thing. But what's the other one I didn't want? The worst one for me, and it's not their last film. It's not Utopia, aka Atoll K.
Hmm.
That's not the worst one. Nothing But Trouble. That's my least favorite one of them. It's called Nothing But Trouble. Yeah, the Fox ones I don't mind. I don't mind those some of those most of those
You know,
Fox ones.
on YouTube, there's a fan re-edit of Atoll K, which is much better than Utopia. Actually, it's a
Uh,
little shorter. They've cut out some of the slag, and it's edited together differently. And I thought it was actually fairly good
there's some funny
compared to
scenes in it.
Utopia.
The problem is that well, usually Stan is real sick in that,
Yeah,
and he doesn't look good at all.
no, no,
Hmm.
they look their age.
But I think
Hmm.
he was ill though. On top of it, Stan,
Yeah,
because he lived to 1965. That was like 1950.
yeah,
I think he looked better after that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
But I remember getting some laughs out of it. The last movie. I mean, I thought there was some fun
Yeah,
in it.
yeah, no, like I said, there's this fan edit that's actually pretty good. Um, and I was gonna also recommend anybody that wants to check them out. I recommend watching the Stan and Laurel movie. It's not factual, it's not accurate,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
but
that.
you get
thanks
a
for
feeling.
reminding.
You get a
Yeah,
feeling for those guys, and
Yeah,
it's maybe not the best place to start because it's the end of their career, but you still get a feeling for who these guys were,
I
and
liked it. I saw it with Anthony in the movie
yeah.
theater.
Thanks for reminding me because I got to put that on my
The only thing,
Amazon list.
as I say, if you're not that familiar with him, though, the only thing unfortunate to me is, they didn't fight. They had like a fight in this movie. I mean, right? They had some falling out. They
Mhm.
never had a big falling out like that. Really, there was a little bit, but not to this extent. Am I right or about that? They were
Yeah, I
friends
don't.
pretty much.
I think like the all Hollywood does. They blew it apart. But I love the end when Ollie is not doing well at all,
Yeah, no,
and
that's
they're
right.
gonna end the show, and he
Don't tell
wants
him. Don't
to
tell
end it
him.
with a dance. Yeah, and no, and it's just a great moment. It really is.
uh, let's see. Yeah, this I want to say too, because the Big Noise that has had a terrible reputation, and it is one of the, I think, best later films. And the guy who wrote a book, Scrivet, Randy Scrivet, maybe or something, I think is his name, had an apology in there saying he evaluated the movie. He used to say it was a bomb, and eh, it's a movie about them delivering a bomb. A comedy movie about them delivering a bomb. And I remember that says it's a movie in some book. It says I think Leonard Maltin's book, Stan and Ollie, a movie about them delivering a bomb, and they do. And a lot of people now have a totally different feeling about it. And I agree. I think it's one of the best ones, The Big Noise. Where are we at? There's a lot of stuff. Just think about the morning. Where is that? Start
Yeah.
up the morning streams. There's no way I'm gonna do. I thought about it. There's no way I'm gonna do them every morning anymore. No, not happening. I like one a week. You know, two maybe. In fact, I did one last night. Now I'm doing this tonight. I feel more tired already than this. Than I like having a week really. So I'm probably gonna do maybe one in the morning at some point. But I can't do them every day. And there's nothing going on with Danny and me or anything. Everything's fine. It's just that he's taking a break now, and I'm taking a break now, and Danny's enjoying his break, just like I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right,
Mello had a question. This is our favorite Christopher Lee film. I don't know if you ever talked, if you
who is
mentioned
that?
that or not, but
Sorry if I missed you there, Melody. Oh, there it is. Favorite Christopher Lee film.
yeah.
That's hard for me. My favorite Christopher Lee film that has him in it doesn't have. It's not a lot of Christopher Lee. It's
Yeah.
called City of the Dead in England, but it was released here to us monster kids as Horror Hotel. And to me,
Mm,
I like Horror Hotel, the title better. I grew up with it, but it was really called City of the Dead, the original title. And it's from 1960, right around the time of Psycho. There's some similarities to Psycho, and I used to say it ripped Psycho off. But but then on the special features on some of the discs, the director and the actors talk about it and say how it actually was before Psycho. When they
yeah.
hadn't seen Psycho yet when they wrote it and made
Right.
it.
Right.
But
I gotta
anyway,
go.
I like that. Yeah, I'm supposed to end
I
this.
gotta
So what?
go. Yeah. I gotta go with Wicker Man. The Wicker
Oh, I'm
Man.
sorry. I was
I
going to
think
end.
that.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wicker Man. I'm sorry. Well, Wicker
No.
Man. He said that was his favorite film, or at least fantastic film.
Right.
He said that he liked that a lot.
Tim, you
Uh,
got one before we sign off, I
I
guess.
I can't really think of one. I'm not a huge Hammer guy, so and that's largely what he did. Um,
Yeah.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
okay. Thanks for the correction there. Oh no, wait a minute. Wait, you're saying that the quote about the delivering the bomb was from John McCabe in his book Mr. Laurel and Hardy? It's in the Leonard Maltin book, TV. The thing used to come out every year, the paperback. I'm just wondering if maybe John McCabe wrote that book because Leonard Maltin does not do the reviews, or not all the reviews anyway, in those Leonard Maltin books that used to come out.
Right. Right. Oh
So
yeah. How
maybe
could
that
you?
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what happened was when Stan and Ollie they went over to 20th Century Fox and to make the features after they Hal Roach films, and they didn't know how to make. These people didn't know how to make them. Really, they thought, and they wouldn't. Yeah, and they didn't have the control that they had. So that's why Stan didn't really
Well,
like them.
at one point, when their contract ran out, they did there was a squabble, and Ollie did go make another film with another company, and Stan wasn't fine with it because they had agreement, and I can't remember which way it went, whether they should do that or shouldn't do that, but one wound up doing it, the other one didn't, and they it wasn't a fight, but he wasn't happy about it, I mean, I'm not, he wasn't both,
Okay.
but so it was blown out of proportion, but something like that did sort of happen, but yeah, they made it much bigger and all of that.
Hmm.
Christopher Lee. What am I supposed to say? A Dracula movie? One of his Dracula movies?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. One of his Dracula movies, but I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you which one.
I mean, I liked them in the Man with the Golden Gun, but that movie is
Yeah.
just. I mean, it's just not one of the better Bond films.
Oh.
But I thought he was decent in it.
Yeah, he was a good villain. Yeah, because Eric knows a lot about Laurel and Hardy. Fox hired Laurel and Hardy as actors only, not allowing them any creative input. It was beyond their understanding that mere actors could have any useful ideas about how to work out a scene. Yeah, I remember reading a lot about that, and they were not happy with it, especially Stan.
Yeah,
They're not used to working that way. Think about how many years they've been working up that point. I've never seen Lord of the Rings movies, so
He's great in
me
it.
either.
I think he's
Me
great in
either.
the Lord of the Ring movies. Saruman.
and he's the only one of the great horror actors I got to meet. So I'm
Christopher
happy
Lee?
for at least, yeah,
What year was that?
twice. 1999.
Mm.
Yeah.
You got his autograph?
Yeah, I got a photo with him. It's actually in my banner.
Nice.
Now that I think of it. Photos in my banner if you ever look up the movie banner.
Oh, okay, I have to go look at that again. Cool.
But yeah, I mean, I would have loved to meet Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, but that wasn't going to happen. So, or even Vincent Price, Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I went on a little longer than I intended to, but just turned out to be some fun. So let's do it again next time, eh? Eh? So thank you everybody here on the screen. Thanks everybody in the peanut gallery or the gallery. If you don't like the word peanut, Danny always made me self-conscious about saying peanut gallery. One last thought. Roach was smart enough to stagger their contracts so they wouldn't leave together. Okay. Interesting. Couldn't leave together, yeah. All right,
No, that's
folks.
smart.
All right, any last words? Last parting words?
Watch a movie.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea, but I'll fall asleep tonight. Maybe I'll watch Battle for the Planet of the Apes again and fall asleep.